remarkably similar sort of in the stage of their careers who won their games for their teams last night. And they are Klay Thompson and Jimmy Butler. Bucks at Bulls last night, Pelicans at Warriors. Jimmy Butler scored 14 points in the fourth quarter. Klay Thompson scored 14 points in the fourth quarter. The Bucks scored 14 themselves. Jimmy Butler scored as many points in the fourth quarter as Milwaukee did. Klay Thompson was only outscored by 2 in the fourth quarter last night by Golden State. Those guys took over the game, and listen how similar they are. They're both 25 years old. They're both in their fourth season. They both made their first All-Star teams this year, and they both had 14 points in the fourth quarter last night. Jimmy Butler and Klay Thompson, two true young NBA stars carrying their teams to wins last night.
The only word to describe Jimmy Butler was en fuego last night in the fourth quarter. I mean, he was calling ISOs, his ability to attack the basket. He wasn't this type of player at Marquette. He was strictly a slasher. And now his ability to make three-point shots really opens up the floor for a guy like Derrick Rose to attack to get into a paint. Last night, there were two guys where I walked away. It's between Draymond Green and then Jimmy Butler, where I just said, pay me my money.
Oh, yeah.
Pay me my money.
Jimmy Butler's a max player, right?
Hands down.
He plays 46 minutes a game.
Most improved player in the league, by the way.
Twice in a row. I think he was the most improved player in the league last year.
I agree with you.
And he's improved that much again this year. He's a genuinely great player because of what he does on the defensive end as well, right? He's a great defender. He gives LeBron trouble. He's the guy who covers the best cover on the other team every night. Plus, he's now become a total scorer, a great team player. What do you have last night? He finished with... Oh my God, I was just circling all of his numbers.
He had 30 points.
He finished with 31 points, 9 rebounds in 46 minutes last night and didn't turn the ball over.
Here's the beautiful thing about that, and this is why I think you have to make him a max player in the Bulls, just because you're a little bit uncertain with what's going to happen with D. Rose. I mean, and D. Rose last night struggled in the first half, 0 points. He did have 6 assists, 7 rebounds. He started to come into his own in the second half. But just there's an uncertainty when I watch D. Rose now, and you'll see that with my top 5 point guards in the playoffs. All right, but I get worried because every time I see him go up, Greeny, I don't know if there's going to be another injury that's waiting to happen.
Yeah,
it makes me nervous.
I mean, it was scoreless in the first half last night, was D. Rose. And I think that, he himself said, well, I just can't. Well, let me play it for you, actually. Why would I tell you what? He said, let me play it for you. He himself said you can't expect the kind of performance he had in Game 1 every night.
It's the playoffs. Every game is different. That's what I love about the playoffs. Even when you don't got things going, always find a way to change the game or give your team your all. And tonight it came from me passing the ball and just trying to find people.
He did have 9 assists. He scored 15 points last night. But that is the thing. We talked about it yesterday. And I was on with Carmen and Yurko in Chicago yesterday afternoon as well on ESPN 1000 promoting our ESPYs contest. And we were talking about this. The question is, can Derrick Rose be the Derrick Rose he was in Game 1 5 times in a 7-game series? Well, there he is almost telling you himself that may not be a realistic expectation. The good news for the Bulls is I don't know that they need him to be.
Exactly.
This was a team that 3 years ago, if Derrick didn't do it, nobody was going to do it. And as Carmen pointed out to me yesterday in Chicago, the X factor that Cleveland would have against them is that late in the fourth quarter of a close game, the Cavs are going to put LeBron on Derrick Rose, right? They're not going to put Kyrie Irving on. They're going to put LeBron on Derrick Rose, and he's going to shut him down. But unlike 4 years ago, and that's how long ago it was that this took place, unlike 4 years ago, the Bulls have other places to go, and that starts with Jimmy Butler.
It does. Jimmy Butler was phenomenal last night. Also, it's a supporting cast. You talk about Paul Gasol had 11 points, 16 rebounds. Another player who I'm actually infatuated by is Joakim Noah. First off, the hair is amazing. I don't know what kind of shampoo he uses. It's off the charts. And secondly, he had 6 points last night, but he had 19 rebounds. And he actually leads the team in assists. He had 5 assists last night. He's the best passing big man in the game right now. So their ability to play through him, it takes his team to a different level.
Yeah. Gasol and Noah combined for 35 rebounds last night, 29 on the defensive end, and that was a big part of the difference in the game last night. The Bulls out-rebounding the Bucks 64 to 48, so totally dominant on the board. So despite the fact the Bulls don't shoot well, they shoot only 38% from the floor, but you get more opportunities. They took 81 shots last night. So the Bulls get themselves a win that they need. They take the 2-0 lead. The Warriors get a win that they need. They get the 2-0 lead. So commanding leads by both teams. I don't think anyone had any other expectation. These are series I don't think either of us expected to be especially competitive. It's Mike and Mike's What's Trending Now, which is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. New improved taste, 10 great flavors Have you tried 5-hour energy shots lately? What more do I have out of that one? Oh, on Derrick Rose. Here's Tim Legler on what he thinks you can expect out of Derrick Rose.
One of the things I really like about this team, Tom Thibodeau has a lot of weapons at his disposal, and you're going to see Derrick Rose now pick and choose his spots, when to be a scorer, when to be a facilitator. It was Jimmy Butler's night in the fourth quarter. They rode him all the way through the wire, and he delivered. That's why he was an all-star.
So there's what we were talking about there, basically, exactly. That's the bottom line is they know it's good news and bad news. The bad news is you probably can't expect Derrick Rose to be Derrick Rose every night. The good news is they probably don't need that.
The gift and the curse. The curse is obviously for Derrick Rose being hurt, but I think the gift for the Bulls is that through the process of him being hurt, you've had other people step up because they've had to. Jimmy Butler is becoming an all-star. You talk about Paul Gasol, Joakim Noah. Tony Snell has stepped up for this basketball team. Aaron Brooks is a lightning rod off of the bench. Now Derrick Rose, he didn't need to score in the first half. He did have 6 assists and 7 rebounds, so he got his teammates involved. And I still believe when he wants to take the ball game over towards the end of a ball game in a pick-and-roll situation, he has the ability to blow by and do that.
On the other side, again, Klay Thompson had 14 points in the fourth quarter on 6 of 8 shooting. Steph Curry did not score in the fourth quarter of a close game last night against New Orleans, and it was Klay Thompson leading the way. So while Curry is, in my opinion, the MVP, I believe that he will win and should win the MVP award this year. That would be my vote if I had a vote. But he's another one who's got a lot of help.